here's my question. Why are we talking about Joe Biden? Is it really about genuine concern? I don't know. The current president just relayed to us that after his call with Putin, another great call, peace for Ukraine is as remote as ever. The message was that Putin is open to talks in general terms. Like, you mean before this phone call? We await reports to see if Putin repeats his pattern of going ham on the battlefield when there may be a ceasefire coming. At home, the stock market has recovered from Trump-induced trauma, but small businesses all over this country are either in crisis or fearing crisis. But what are we hearing about from our elected leaders and the cognoscenti, the Latin word for the smart people, right? The insiders, those who drive the news cycle and the dialogue. Questions about Biden's butt.
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. If you take a look, it's the same doctor that said that Joe was cognitively fine. There was nothing wrong with him. A doctor was involved in each case. Maybe it was the same doctor, and somebody is not telling the facts.
What does he know about the facts? Seriously. What does he know about prostate cancer and what the diagnosis pattern was and how often Biden was going and what they knew in the past? And how would it have mattered in the presidency? The public should have been made aware a long time ago. Really, Mr. Transparency, like with the UAPs, when you promised us that we would get the information that Biden didn't give us and you gave us nothing? Like you said about the Kennedy files and the Epstein files, and we got nothing that really gives us what we need? That kind of transparency. Come on, an honest medical appraisal, like the one we got about the president, President Trump, the man we're told is my height and weight. Really? Really? The man who we were told is described by his doctors as a specimen with perfect health and incredible genes? Really? Really? Oh, well, but prostate cancer is much more important than just lying about his obvious corpulence. No, it isn't. It's prostate cancer. It's not brain cancer. We know what this is all about, right? These empty gestures of concern. It's all part of a ruse. It's an extension of the conspiracy du jour. Conspiracies, the great answer for those who don't understand. The Biden cover-up of fill in the blank. This bothers me for 2 reasons, okay? First, about the prostate thing specifically, okay? He just got a diagnosis that a lot of men his age get. Something like 80% of men who reach the age of 80 will get prostate cancer, assuming they get checked out, and many don't. Now, I know this because we're dealing with it in my own family, okay? Prostate cancer, they say the treatment works, and then you don't have them checked out that much because they don't want to go. They got 10 different doctors looking at them for 10 different things, and eventually they get back around to it, and what are you told? Cancer's back, and it's spread all over. And you have to balance the benefit and the burden of treatments on someone who's old and fragile, given this horrible reality of how much time is left at that age. Now, that's the reality for the Biden family. That's what he's dealing with. That's what we're dealing with in my family, and you probably are dealing with your own or, know somebody who is. It's hard on everybody, and I feel for the Bidens. I do. But this should not be a talking point. This is not politically relevant. It is not a cover-up. Don Jr. saying, whatever. I don't talk about the president's family. I get it. But the vice president, this is what he's trafficking in? Why isn't he touring cities that need artisans to figure out what the federal government can do to get back the men and women who build and maintain our country? Why isn't he out in Palm Springs trying to figure out how that community's doing after some psycho bombed a car and killed somebody? Why is he part of the chorus driving this distraction about Joe Biden's prostate? And then there's my broader beef, this growing narrative. Well, they were covering up covering up what? All this talk and now some book about how the White House and the media were all in on hiding Biden's decline. What was hidden about his decline? The writers covered what was going on with Biden in real time. They're from D.C. These people all hang out with each other. They go to the same parties. Their kids are in the same schools. What were they in the dark about when it comes to Joe Biden exactly? What was unclear to any of us? The book and all the MAGA folks, they don't have any no proof of some hidden diagnosis. I saw one saying, I heard he had a brain problem. Yeah, he does. And he did. Multiple aneurysms that we've known about for decades, just like his age and stage, were clear for a long time. When the guy was at his best, he was a gaffe machine. He was never eloquent. He had clearly diminished his capacities. When he ran in 2020, that's why he said he would be one and done. And when he broke that promise, that's why it was so controversial, because of his age and stage. And before you throw me in and say, oh, you know, just like Tapper and the other guy, you know, they're changing their tune. No, I'm not. Here's just a taste of my record on this obvious situation.
I think that Biden's age is a concern, okay? Biden's stage is a concern.
What's the biggest issue that he faces in the person-to-person matchup? It's whether or not he is up to the task. Is Biden dealing with diminishment? Of course he is. But stage is what the issue is. You have two old men who are past prime and not the best that America has to offer, and you know it. You know it.
Now let's start talking about what happens if Biden wins. You have a catastrophic concern. He's sick. Okay, someone his age could be sick. He has a medical catastrophe. He winds up being unable to do the job. Now we got a 25th Amendment situation.
So then what, you're going to accuse me of having known something? It was obvious. He's losing his faculties. He's losing his potential. It's his age and his stage. Look, the moment for any of this drama that's going on right now was after that debate. There was no denying that Biden wasn't up to what needs to be done on the debate stage, okay? And I took a lot of heat for saying so. Democrats were pissed at me because they were desperate to beat Trump. You're going to make Trump president. No, you're going to make Trump president because this is who you decided to put up. And these other critics, too, now who are like getting into this conspiracy thing. Oh, you're making too much of it. You should. I said what was obvious about Biden and Trump right after the debate. You looked at that stage, you saw a guy who's a sick man, and you saw a guy who's arguably a bad man on the stage at the same time. That debate was an embarrassment. And Biden is clearly past it. This is not a surprise. Biden is who we know he is. That's who Biden was at the debate, who we know he has been. He's not good. He's old and ailing. And I've been saying this for months. He is who you think he is. He doesn't move that well. He has a different energy curve, and he's not good on his feet. By the way, Joe Biden has never been great on his feet. He was a gaffe machine at his best. Not a medical mystery. Not a cover-up. All right? I mean, this is what he is, old and fading. We haven't learned anything else. You know, he had to make... Oh, you mean like with Reagan? That was a cover-up. That was a cover-up with Reagan, okay? This is what it is. And now they're trying to make it something else. Why? To destroy trust. That's why. To destroy any connection to anything but them. Okay? And I'm telling you, they don't need to do it, and it's killing us. I know that I'm right about Biden, okay? I know I am. I'm close to his guys, too, all right? And sure, they were polishing the apple a little bit about how involved he was. But you saw on The View, this isn't a guy who's lost his mind, okay? He's just lost his touch. I watched the smartest man I've ever met in my life go through this and lose his greatest gift, his mind. And it killed me to see what happened with my father. And there was no single disease or cause. There was no remedy either. And there was nothing to cover up. It was obvious. Just like with Biden. That's the process. Different rates for different people in different situations with different genetics and 100 other components. And let me tell you something. President Trump is showing his signs of age as well. All right? He's not my height. He's not my weight. He's nothing like me. Okay? Probably for your benefit when it comes to being president. But physically, I'll take me over him. Remember, Trump didn't just become a focus of my existence like he did with everybody else in the media game in 2015. The first time I ever interviewed Donald Trump, I was a teenager. I recorded an interview with him for my brother's bachelor party tape. Okay, that's how long our families have been around each other. He's not who he was then, and that's understandable. Is Biden more diminished? 100%. 100%. It's not a comparison. I'm just saying I don't like how any of this is couched in this canard of compassion or given the grandeur of a conspiracy. If you didn't know that Biden had problems with his mental acuity, playing the part, you must have a health problem as well. This is not about Biden or his health. It's about exposing the other side and creating a perverse sense of an easy win for MAGA. And the media loves it. They love to blame themselves. They love it. It's the one thing the media does better than anybody else, is attack itself. We keep seeing this. Everything gets put through the same meat grinder of advantage. And if it works for you, great. And if it doesn't, you ignore it. It's about as ugly an example of situational ethics that I can think of. You have one set of rules for the other side and another for you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.